Welcome everyone to Discover This. Well, today we got a story about a Hell's Angel by the name of Chad Wilson. And we're going to talk a little bit about his life and his death. So here's his story.
1, 2, 3, 4.
So Chad John Wilson was a Canadian citizen. He became an associate of the Haney charter of the Hells Angels Motorcycle Club in British Columbia. But he ended up moving down to the San Diego, California area, where in January of 2005, he became a prospect for the Dago charter of the Hells Angels. Now, while he was a prospect in 2005, he was arrested by the Los Angeles Police Department for carrying a loaded firearm during a traffic stop. The LAPD also included a gang enhancement on that arrest. Now, Chad Wilson never appeared in court on those charges, and there was always a warrant out for his arrest. Now, he made full patch sometime in late January 2006, and he was doing very well for himself and the Dago charter. Now, in August of 2006, it was the annual Sturgis rally in South Dakota. And as many of you probably know, the Hells Angels have a fairly large presence at Sturgis every year, but so do many of their adversaries. So sometimes there's conflict at the Sturgis rally. On August 8, 2006, Chad Wilson was a passenger in a truck being driven by a prospect of the Haney charter of the Hells Angels. They happened upon a group of Outlaws Motorcycle Club members. Wilson and the prospect pulled into a parking lot where a group of outlaws were, and Wilson started shooting. Eventually, some in the Outlaws group started shooting back, but Wilson had wounded 5 in the group of Outlaws, including one member who ended up being paralyzed. Wilson and the prospect were eventually arrested and were charged with 5 counts of attempted murder. Both Wilson and the prospect pleaded self-defense. And during the trial, more than a few Hells Angels attended and showed support. However, at the end of the trial, both were found not guilty. The government then charged them with conspiracy to commit murder, but both ended up pleading guilty to other charges. Wilson ended up pleading guilty to being a non-immigrant alien in possession of a firearm, and the prospect ended up pleading guilty to possession of cocaine, which was in his system when arrested. Both Wilson and the prospect served prison time in South Dakota and then were deported back to Canada. Since both Chad Wilson and the prospect were now felons, neither would be allowed back into the United States, ever. Chad Wilson ended up transferring from the Dago charter to the Haney, British Columbia charter, which is where he started as an associate years before. And there he would do his thing for a number of years. In September of 2013, Chad Wilson and 3 other Canadian Hells Angels members and associates were arrested in Spain for smuggling 1,100 pounds of cocaine. That's 500 kilos to you and me. And it was being smuggled from Colombia to Spain. Now, what they didn't know was that the DEA, the Drug Enforcement Administration in the United States, had been watching that shipment as it was loaded in Colombia onto a yacht and as it traveled across the Atlantic to Spain. 3 of these people were arrested at a cafe waiting for the yacht to dock, and one of them was on the yacht. There's video here on YouTube of that arrest in the cafe, and one of these people on the ground is Chad Wilson. All of them went on trial, all 4 went on trial and were convicted and served some time in Spain. And then all were returned to Canada in 2015 after serving that time. Now Chad Wilson went back to Haney. However, he, along with a few other Haney members, started a new Hells Angels charter in 2017 that they called Hardside. Now everything seemed to be going smoothly. In fact, in February of 2018, Chad Wilson got married. He and his bride had a destination wedding that occurred in Punta Cana, Dominican Republic. A number of Wilson's Hells Angels brothers attended that wedding. All was good until mid-November of 2018 when Chad Wilson's body was found lying face down under the Golden Ear Bridge near Metro Vancouver, British Columbia, around 11:30 a.m. on a Sunday morning. According to police, it appeared Wilson had been killed somewhere else and his body dumped under the bridge roadway near the Fraser River. Chad Wilson had been shot to death. To this day, the case remains unsolved.
So this past Sunday, November 18th at around 11:30 a.m., the Rich Meadows RCMP and first responders were called for a report of a body found in the 22,000 block of Wharf Street in Maple Ridge, which is just beneath the Golden Ears Bridge. When officers arrived, they found a man that they determined was a victim of homicide. We can now confirm that our victim is 43-year-old Chad Wilson of Maple Ridge. Right now, IHIT is working closely with its partners from the Rich Meadows RCMP, the Integrated Forensic Identification Services, and the BC Coroner Service to gather evidence. What I can tell you about Mr. Wilson was that he was a well-established member of an organized crime group, and we believe that his murder was not a random act. IHIT will be engaging with our numerous partners from the gang enforcement units throughout the Lower Mainland region. They will be working to mitigate any ongoing violence. While the motive for Mr. Wilson's murder has not been confirmed, this is yet another example, another reminder of the significant dangers that is posed to one's life by being part of a criminal organization. Again, we urge anyone with information about Mr. Chad Wilson's murder to please step up and contact IHIT. You can also contact Crime Stoppers if you wish to remain anonymous. Well, I can confirm that he was a member of the Hells Angels organization. As to which chapter that he belonged to at the time of his death, that is something that we're going to consult with our gang enforcement units, including the Combined Forces Special Enforcement Unit. So right now, behind the scenes, there's a lot of activity going on. And so there's a lot of discussion, a lot of consulting. And certainly that's one of the pieces of information that we're going to try to find out. But we also know that there are people out there that have that information, that have intimate knowledge perhaps of exactly what happened to Chad Wilson. So our message to those people is this, and we're speaking particularly to those people that were the closest to him. And we understand that those people may be involved in criminal activity. But to them, we say this: if you have intimate knowledge about what happened to Chad Wilson, we need to speak with you. And we will go to wherever you are. We will sit down and speak with you. And we will treat you with the utmost respect. We want to solve your friend, your associate's murder as much as you do. Please reach out to IHIT today.
Well, that's going to do it, ladies and gentlemen, for this video about Hells Angel member Chad Wilson and his murder. Now, coming up at some point soon, I'm going to be doing an update on a Hells Angel video we did earlier, and I'm going to be referencing this video. So you'll see why why, number one, I did this video and what the connection is, at least in my opinion. So stay tuned for that. But I appreciate you watching. I appreciate you taking the time. And we will see you on the next Discover This.